I believe you can have it all and you do not have to struggle to get it. If life feels hard, your tasks seem impossible, or you just don't like the options laid out before you, I promise you there is a better way. My name is Melanie McSally, your Better Way architect, and I welcome you to the WyzeCast Show. Today's guest is Ross Murker. Did I say that correctly? Awesome. Who uses his unique perspective and gifts to help others own and feel empowered by their uniqueness and their gifts. He's here today to teach us about the power of hypnosis and NLP and how we might use this to find our better way. So welcome, Ross. How are you?
Thank you very much, Melanie. I am excellent. Thank you.
Awesome. So, hypnosis and NLP, and let me just preface by I'm a technologist, so I've heard it all, like the government is stealing my information. I don't like it, all the things. So why don't you give us sort of the layman's terms into hypnosis and NLP, and let's take the lens of how we can use it to our advantage and not be afraid of it.
Well, neuro-linguistic programming is a system that was developed and framed by Richard Bandler and John Grinder way back when in the 1900s, primarily as a way to find things that worked better in helping people. And what they really did was they got scientific about the uses of language and communication and processes to engage communication, first beyond the verbal, and then second, to learn how people internally process their experiences such that that could be engaged with and worked with on a level where people understood how they worked, how they functioned.
Awesome.
And so the helpers and therapists and other such in that group of people could also determine how our clients worked best and how to become much more effective at serving them.
Yeah, awesome. And so you used unique perspective multiple times, and you have a unique perspective. Do you want to share with our audience what that is?
I will share a little bit about myself so that people understand what we might have in common. I have always been taller than everybody around me. I am autistic, ADHD, and have CPTSD. Although for the first 58 years of my life, I was just labeled lazy and weird and put off in a corner because I was deemed to be academically able. Didn't get much support, didn't get much, they didn't need to check up on me. He just doesn't work up to potential. Well, all that left me with some rather outsider points of view. And I thought I was unique. And then I learned about neurodivergences and how they show up and the symptomology and so forth. And I had the privilege of formal testing and professional diagnosis and learned exactly what was going on with me. And even with all of the new wave of diagnoses that are happening and the self-diagnosing tools available, we are still a very underserved community. So I determined that we would be the folks that I would serve.
Awesome. So I love serving anyone who feels marginalized in any way, shape, or form, because I relate. I was bullied for a really long time just for being myself, and I too got the old, she doesn't want to pay attention, blah, 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 all the things. And so, okay, so you found out later in life that you had this uniqueness, and that you had sort of a, I want to say, like a justification for how you were feeling, right? As opposed, like with the world not understanding you, right? So how is that? Like, how is it different now than it was when you didn't know?
Having a handle on rejection sensitivity, there are discussions around whether it's a disorder given the pattern of mostly feeling rejected. Uh, but having that handle and having ideas of reasons why we were late growing into or developing into the ability to mask, the ability to code switch, the ability to kind of fit in at an energetic cost has helped me figure out one, how to adjust, and two, situations when I might want to versus when I don't want to, when I don't need to. And there's a balance and a safety and a comfort in being myself as myself and knowing that there's room for that.
Yeah, and okay, so this can, like anyone can relate to this. You don't have to be neurodivergent to relate from the perspective of there's going to be situations in life where you don't like your path. You don't like the options in front of you. Maybe you don't even understand um, how to communicate or how to be in the environment. And so, like, what are some ways that people can make use of NLP and hypnosis to help navigate these situations?
NLP at the personal level is primarily a set of tools that help you learn how you process your experiences, how to perhaps alter the level of impact or pressure those experiences might be having on you. And having that understanding just makes things feel a bit easier. You can clear a metaphorical spot of calm from which to work, from which to perceive, from which to look around a little bit. And maybe the foveal isn't bringing you what you need. And so the peripheral has time and space to open to something that you might not have seen before.
Um, can you give an example that people might relate to on that involves like using NLP to help through a situation?
Sure. But I'm going to need to ask you a question. I need you to look directly into your camera, please.
Okay.
What's for dinner tonight?
I don't know. I'm not cooking it.
Oh, well, okay.
Let's
What
make
was
some
the first
stuff.
thing you did after you brushed your teeth this morning?
Work.
Thank you. I got
Hmm.
it. NLP has a thing where they look at the eye movement pattern when answering a question about the past or the immediate future, and it tells where you keep your timeline and your primary mode of processing. And now I know that when I speak with you, if I want you more agreeable with me, I need to use feeling verbs and feeling words. That feels right to me. That feels okay to me. I know that I need to slow the pace of my speech because people who work primarily from kinesthetic hear somebody who's fast-paced visual and there's a distrust because there's a mismatch in the pace. And you never really understand why, because they're not lying. They're not dishonest at all. But their representation is so much different than yours that kind of stretches the connection. And you can feel that.
Yeah. And based on your description, I am gaining a new awareness of how people like how people can go down the fear road of NLP, right? So if I communicate in one way and you communicate in another way, and I have an expertise in NLP and it helps me to communicate in a way that we could connect at a deeper level. Um, some might see a way to manipulate that or use it for good, right? And so let's just take the path of using it for good.
Let us take the path of using it for good and understand that one of the primary precepts of NLP is that communication is what is received.
Mm-hmm.
It's all fine to have the best of intentions and be trying to bring assistance. And if we're not bringing it in the way it's received, then it's not received and it just lays there.
Yeah. And so can you do it in reverse? So, you know, let's say I have no awareness of NLP, nor do I have any awareness of how to communicate effectively with neurodivergent. Could you use NLP to help translate me in a way that you would understand better? Or I don't know.
NLP is mostly about the processes,
Hmm.
the eye motor, the body language. If I were to move into a full modeling, pacing, and leading session with you, in changing my body language to reflect yours, I would find your processing areas. And you would feel connection on a subconscious level because we're matching and pacing, even to the breathing pattern, pace, and speed. It's about paying attention for the practitioner. And a would-be practitioner can practice by paying attention to those things, those items that can be paced. How the hands are folded in the lap, how someone leans forward as they're listening, how someone maybe tilts their head if they have a curiosity or something catches and they're processing it, and how someone nods when they're agreeing.
Yep.
And yeah, and that laugh, that's fun. That's okay. I'm feeling more connected now. And all of that helps me to say, okay, if I take my head over here, now obviously that was very rapid and very severe to illustrate. But if you follow that, then I know that you're with me.
Hmm. Is it specifically because of the mirroring, or is there another
The
reason?
mirroring helps.
Hmm.
It's somewhat of a, if you've ever gone walking with someone, you can't really hold hands if one person is walking a lot faster than the other one or jogging. You can't really stay holding hands if one person stops walking. And so there's that connection breakage. So not only do we have to be going in a similar direction, but the practitioner needs to be going at pretty much the same pace. Imagine an excited 4-year-old, come on, come on. They can do that a little bit. That's that leading portion. But we still have to stay connected first. The connection is the important part.
Yeah. It's like the dog walkers. Who's walking whom? The dog?
Well, I wasn't going to say anything about dogs because that would be insulting. You're not walking me like a dog. No.
Um, yeah, sometimes you see the dogs and they're like pulling the
Oh,
owner
yeah.
on the
I have
street.
seen people getting pulled by a pack of hounds. And it's like, ma'am, you don't have enough body mass for that. If they decide to take off, you're toast.
Yeah. Okay. So if somebody is in a situation where they feel confused, like they feel like they don't understand their environment or the people around them, um, like could they use NLP and hypnosis in this way as well? Or am I just not understanding?
No, they could if they wanted to, but I'm going to suggest something kind of like a prerequisite.
Okay.
Before reaching out to model, pace, and lead with someone among the group that's around them, maybe turn inwards a moment. Because absent that feeling of safety, the old patterns that were instilled for survival are going to be running the show. If you can access your personal feeling of safety within yourself, maybe a couple rounds of vagus reset breathing, and get to a place of, I am safe, if it's true. I am, let's see, I am safe, I am supported. You get a real sense of the ground, the floor under you, the earth under that, the chair under you, between you and the floor, if that's the case. I am safe, I am supported, I am centering, I am secure.
Yeah. Yeah.
From
Go ahead.
from that, connecting on a better level becomes a whole lot easier.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing from you is pre-work before you attend the event to get into a space where you feel confident, you feel safe, you feel secure, you feel protected. Um,
You
so,
have a sense of what you're going to contribute, if anything,
mhm,
other than a passive audience member.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. You reminded me of a friend of mine has this process when they go into networking events where they sit in their car before they enter and they quote unquote practice being a human. They are also neurodivergent, and they like go through the process of I'm going to walk in and this is how people are going to receive me and this is you know I I'm going to tell jokes or I'm not going to tell jokes because people don't understand me when I tell jokes or they don't think I'm funny or whatever, like they go through the process in their head and they that way when they walk in they feel like they have a plan, they have structure, and they feel confident. They particularly, this isn't necessarily for everyone, but they feel confident, safe, and secure in that plan that they've created for themselves. But they leave themselves enough wiggle room that, you know, things might come up.
I might suggest that they remove the part about how they think they're going to be received.
Well, no, it's a more of
That
like, this is the energy I want to project.
there
So
you go.
that's
That
what
part
they're,
works. That's under their control.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So, what are some other uses for hypnosis in what you've experienced?
I used to be a course junkie. I used to be a self-help book junkie. I used to consume that material like it was going out of style. I used to do the stereotypical ADHD, buy a journal every year, be done with it by the end of January, if that long. And I finally realized that I was trying to put good software over a corrupted BIOS, to use a computer term,
Mhm.
that I wasn't really addressing the roots, the identity level stuff that was not helping me in what I was wanting to accomplish. In all of that consuming, I got really good at sorting and really good at editing. And I, in fact, put together a coaching program of my own from my own lived experience. And I thought I was doing really well, but I found myself forcing to offer it. And it finally clicked to me that while I was putting it together, I was receiving hypnotherapy as a client, and it was working so much better for me than any coaching I'd ever received. And so it clicked in my head that if I'm getting better help from hypnotherapy and its modalities than I was from coaching, why am I offering coaching? Why am I not giving the best I am capable of giving? And so now I do hypnosis. And it is so much easier to say, hey, were you awake at 2 o'clock in the morning last night? Did you want to be? Would you like to change that? I'm Ross Murker. I'm a hypnotist.
Yeah. And okay, so for anyone who's not a computer junkie like I am, um, it feels like this is, changing your belief system. Is that an accurate classification?
One of the wonderful things that the NLP folks did was they studied Virginia Satir, who was a family therapist, and developed an iceberg model of identity very similar to and mirrored to Maslow's hierarchy of needs,
Mm-hmm.
where the top 10% is our conscious awareness, what we present to the public, and then we have our actions, then we have our thoughts, then we have our beliefs, then we have our self-images and opinions and so forth. And all the way down below that is who we actually are. Not how we see ourselves, but how we actually are, our identity. Hypnosis reaches to that. Coaching doesn't always.
Yeah. Great. Great and great great perspective to like broaden it out to people who don't speak this whole tech language, which not every
Metaphorister. Hi.
yeah. Storyteller.
That works. Data feeds the brain, stories feed the heart, leaders do both.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so you talked a little bit about your story. Anything else you want to expand upon to let our folks connect with you and learn more about you?
Most folks believe that hypnosis is what they've seen with hypnotists working on stage to entertain folks. I can promise you that you will, unless you want to, you will not wake up tomorrow quacking like a chicken. My website is rossmurkercht.com. That's my name and my designation, CHT, Certified Hypnotherapist.com. And on there are availabilities to either sign up and download an audio sample or grab a piece of my calendar and talk to me about hypnosis.
Awesome. And we'll put that link below and give you a chance to give it again later. So I have heard that people have used hypnosis for all sorts of things, like, shifting beliefs, understanding their true authentic self, manifesting things, clearing, junk that it's not serving them anymore. What are some of the big things that people come to you for?
People come to me for a lot of different symptoms. Weight loss, which is a symptom of their relationship with their bodies and fuel. Anxiety, which is their ability to believe in themselves and their abilities around current circumstances, recent circumstances, or deeper past circumstances. Finances and manifesting abundance, a symptom of having accepted a process in childhood that says that we shrink ourselves, that we don't offer because what we have to offer doesn't feel all that special. I mean, we're used to it. We know it. We understand it. And that familiarity breeds a level of, that's just, doesn't everybody know that? And the answer is no, they don't. We're waiting for you to share it. And I get them into, a place where they can share from legitimately. Let's see, what else? Smoking. Smoking is a really popular symptom to address in hypnosis, and I can do that. I don't usually.
Is there something
Uh,
you usually do instead, or?
no, no, I will refer them to a practitioner. I know, matter of fact, he's one of my classmates who specializes in helping people leave the cigarettes behind.
And is it just cigarettes, or is it all addiction, or?
He primarily specializes in cigarettes. The protocol that he uses can be adapted for other addictions. Uh, I tend to recommend that people in addictions that are deeper than tobacco will want other help on board besides the hypnotherapist, because what we do serves at a truly deep level, and we are not a panacea. We are not the be all, end all, solve everything, wave a magic wand, 90 minutes in and out, and you're perfect. We don't do that. And anybody who claims otherwise is suspect in my book.
Okay, so that's a good segue into all right, so I'm not gonna like have one session and become whatever, triple my income or have the love of my life show up and at my doorstep miraculously. What's it
In
like though? What's the process like?
in that 90-minute session, we're going to get into your foundation. We're going to get deep, and we're going to look around, and we're going to do a foundation inspection, and we're going to do some somatic anchoring, and we're going to do some breathwork patterns and some physical anchoring to some things that we may notice about how you might like to be different moving forward. Which of your root processes we might need to just say, thank you very much for keeping me alive. It's taking a lot of energy, isn't it? Would you like to relax? Can we brainstorm together about a different way to accomplish the same thing?
So that sounds active.
It
It
is.
okay, so when people are in hypnosis, are they like tapping into their intuition? Are they communicating with you in some way?
We always communicate. I pay attention to the micromotor movements if somebody's in deep trance. And in talking directly to the subconscious, it can do things with the body, like twitch a pinky or tilt the head gently left or tilt the head gently right without ever waking somebody up. And
And
so we can communicate both ways.
okay, awesome. And so what about the people who think hypnosis doesn't work for them?
I will say that they are probably already in a very strong trance, and that belief has been validated by selective memory. And I'll explore with them experimentally whether that's absolutely true or a defense mechanism.
So, um, so if somebody comes in and they feel resistant, let's say, to hypnosis, um, are you can you still get to the point where you are working on whatever it is that they want to come to you for, or are you
Oh, yeah.
spending a lot of the
Wait.
session working
If,
on hypnosis?
if somebody's paying attention to what I'm saying
Hmm.
consciously,
Hmm.
I am talking to the entire person. I am communicating with the entire person, which includes the subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
And in being there with the intent of healing and growing and learning,
Mm-hmm.
that part of the subconscious that is desirous of those things is open to what I'm saying and offering. And I can tell them a story about a tomato plant.
Okay.
I can tell them a story about a tomato plant where the roots reach down into the ground searching for water and they find it. And the stalk starts slowly weaving its way upward. And after it started out of the ground a few inches, you put a cage around it to support it, a wire fence cage around it to support it. And so it grows up straighter toward the light. And it grows up straighter because that's just naturally what tomato plants do. And they're happily receiving the sunlight, and they're reaching up a little higher, and they're enjoying the water, and they're welcoming the bees, and they're going to fruit, and they're just growing bigger and stronger and taller and straighter up along the cage. And I'll see people straighten their spines where they're sitting. They didn't go to sleep. They didn't go into trance, but they're accepting the suggestion because it's a story and because it's something that doesn't threaten them. How am I threatened by a tomato plant? That's not going to intrude on my identity, but I like being healthy, I like being strong, and I like sitting tall. They didn't consciously decide to do it, but they're doing it. I wonder what else we might do.
This is fun.
Yes, it is. That's why I do it. That the absolute reward for me is when I bring someone to an epiphany. That big light flashing behind their eyes, just bang, oh! Because the human brain only learns at one speed, instantly, digitally. You didn't know it, you knew it, you may have been reading about it, you may have been picking up facts about a concept, and then boom, it lands, and you have the concept, and it's digital. And it becomes difficult to remember the time before you knew it, because now you know. And that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I've seen a PSA that's like, and now you know.
Oh, the more you know is, yeah.
Okay, so you've talked about, like, you've hinted a little bit about other modalities like somatic and breathwork and things like that. So just like touch upon any other modalities that you specialize in, so that way, well, one, we'll talk about how you use them all together, but two, so, you know, if anybody wants to know about anything that you do that we haven't talked about, we can invite you back and we can dive into that as well.
We have the list, and believe I it's enough for me. Somatic just means in your body. It's a fancy term meaning in your body. The parts of your body that the subconscious lives in that are accessible, whether you're talking about acupuncture and the Chinese patterns, whether you're talking about the chakras, whether you talk anything in your body can be accessed from the surface with a few gentle movements. Breath work. Breathing is a magical threshold area gateway between what the conscious mind can take control of and what the subconscious mind runs for you. And in it, we can go through it to other processes that the subconscious is running for us that we might want to tune up. We might want to get more into alignment with our desires for the future instead of the survival patterns of the past. Because it's all a well of energy, a personal energy. And if we're spending our personal energy trying to prevent the bad things of the past, that's energy that's not available for creating the things we want in the future. And so that's somatic, that's breathwork. NLP, we've discussed at length. Hypnosis is simply me talking to your subconscious and your subconscious communicating with me, whether your conscious mind is awake, aware, and along for the ride or not.
And okay, so you've already kind of touched upon it, but is there any more you want to say about how you sort of use them all together
Certainly.
to help someone?
I almost always begin with a vagus reset breathing and helping people gain a sense of safety in their body where they are when we're talking. You are safe here now. You are supported here now. And as your awareness contracts to that feeling of safety and supportedness, it becomes much easier to turn to new directions. It becomes much easier to focus or to diffuse the focus away from whatever circumstance might be distracting. And so that and a somatic anchoring of that. So we have the breathing, we have the hypnosis, we have a somatic anchoring of the hypnosis, and we're maybe 5 minutes into the process, 5 minutes into a session. From there, the NLP anchoring comes, and the hypnotic suggestions and the hypnotic exploration of what the former processes might have been and their results versus the desired results. Dealing with releasing past items that may have been of a traumatic nature without ever needing to go into any details, and freeing up that energy in a safe environment. That's what I do.
Awesome. Awesome. And can you give me an example of what a somatic versus an NLP anchoring is?
Well, NLP uses somatic anchoring on occasion. A somatic anchor is one that's in the body. For example, if you take the fingers of your non-dominant hand, thumb and forefinger, and touch them together while you're thinking of something from your past that may have disturbed you or may still come up occasionally, and then you take what you would like to replace it with, after you get that good and anchored in there to where you can test it by releasing it, having a few moments of conversation, going back, touching them back together, does that anchored item come back? Okay, it's successfully anchored. Then we anchor the good thing that you actually want in your dominant hand. Same gesture, thumb and forefinger. And we get that really in there. Just, yeah, it feels so awesome. I'm free. I'm abundant. I'm whatever word you choose, whatever concept you choose. That is your identity in that moment. And then you test that anchor. You release it. You have a few moments of conversation. You touch it again. Does it come back? And you really set that in there. Then you release it. Then you have a few moments of conversation. Here's the fun bit. Trigger both at the same time. And feel what happens. Internal. When those anchors are both fired at the same time. There's a balance. and you learn to trust what your body's telling you based on what you told it to tell you and what it's bringing back to you. You're talking to your own subconscious, you're talking to your own body, and you're finding your own balance between, okay, these things happened, and I'm making these things happen.
So it's not
That's a somatic anchor. An NLP anchor would be a reticular activation system.
okay. Got it.
Every time you see anything with the color red, it tells you to fire your good anchor, your dominant hand anchor, and take the next step forward toward that feeling, whatever that might be.
Got it.
And it will come.
And so when you're talking about somatic anchors, are you talking about like not removing or releasing or deleting the things that happened in the past, but instead sort of, okay, what are you saying?
I don't teach delusion. The thing that happened, happened. Period, full stop. It's valid. You were there. You experienced it. However, comma, let's reduce its impact on you. Let's learn how you experience things. In your case, in feeling, probably way down in the bottom of your tummy, there's a tightness, there's a rock, there's a molten red ick. I'm guessing. And you could tell me what that was if you felt okay doing that. And we could work around the modalities in reframing it for you. If it's a hot rock, we reduce its temperature. If it's a bright orange from the heat, we reduce its temperature. If it's really dense like lead, we wash at it or float it. And we get a handle on changing how it feels now. How it felt then is how it felt then. And the person we were then wasn't as equipped to deal with it. But now we've got new tools.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can reframe the feelings that are wrapped around the experience and reduce its negative impact. Because, yeah, it was bad. And we can get ourselves to that happened. By my will, it will never happen again. And I can put it in a box on a shelf.
and
And see that giggle of release right there? That tells me it worked.
yeah, and so a lot of times people have something related to that, like guilt or shame or resentment or anything in that. I'm guessing that's part of hypnosis of the gems.
Yep, yep, that anytime a feeling, an emotional feeling is a belief about a sensation or memory. Beliefs can change. All we are is change. Let's do something useful about it. We might not be able to do anything useful with it other than avoid it in the future, but we can do something useful about it so it doesn't take away so much of our energy as we live day to day.
Yeah, I think it's Abraham Hicks that says a belief is just a thought you continue to think and then call in the
A
truth.
belief like that and returning to it is your mind attempting to process the emotions that you didn't have the resources to do at the time it happened.
Yeah, and what you're speaking to right now is all the guilt, resentment, shame, whatever. Is that what you mean? Yeah.
That's all energy.
Yeah.
Let's release it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you're reminding me of, so when I was a triathlete, I had a coach, and she always used to say, energy that's not moving forward is useless energy. And what she meant by that was like, while you're, say, on your bike, which is the time you're going the fastest, is if you're riding your bike and you're like looking over your shoulder to find out who's close to you or somebody's going to pass you, or you're um, worried about, you know, like who's breaking the rules, or, you're just like, your thoughts are all over the place. That's energy taking you all here. And then it's slowing you down from moving forward. And it
It's
sounds like,
reducing your focus.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Not
it's,
to say useless, because if something's coming at you from the side like a Jeep who didn't see the course marker, that's a good thing. You probably want that awareness. But other than anything that is going to have impact on your race, you probably want to have as much of your energy as you can focused on producing your performance in that race.
yeah, yeah. Awesome. So, is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience?
So many times we've been told we can. So many times we actually know how intellectually in our head, academically. I'm here to help explore the difference between knowing the answers and living the solutions to the problems. That dimension of depth is often the difference that makes the difference.
I'm going to call you the king of sound bites.
I, I've been working on them so long, I think I ought to be the king of something.
Well, it's been such a pleasure. So, tell us once again how people can get in touch with you if they would like to work with you.
Please come to my website. Consider signing up for the free sample audio. It's an awesome metaphor, I promise. It's worth the time to listen to at least once. You can always unsubscribe if it's not what you like. But please come to my website, download the sample audio, and if you feel so moved, grab a calendar spot and let's talk hypnosis. I love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ross, for being here, for sharing your wisdom, your unique perspective, um, to help any discovered or undiscovered neurodivergents out there, claim their true identity and their beautiful uniqueness. So thank you for all of that. And also, I want to invite anybody who's still here. First of all, thank you for sticking to the end. But if you're still here and there's any of those modalities that you mentioned that we haven't talked about that you're interested in learning more about, please comment it below so we can invite Ross to come back and share his expertise on that as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Melanie. It has been a wonderful little afternoon here, and I'm enjoying the thought that this will reach somebody who's ready to receive it.
Yes, and thank you for that segue, because technology loves love too, and it pays it forward. So if you resonated with anything, if anything, hit the spot for you, please like, share, comment. The new thing the kids are talking about these days is hyping. So if you know how to do that, it's a little complicated, but anyway, if you know how to do that, please do it, because that's what's feeding the algorithm these days. And when you feed the algorithm, it gets this out there to anybody who needs to see it, so we can get Ross in front of those people who need him. So thank you so much once again.
Yeah,
And go ahead. Did you want to say something?
the acronym FOCUS. Feed our connections until successful.
I like it. Thank you. Um, so once again, If life feels hard, your tasks seem impossible, or you just don't like the options laid out before you, I promise you there is a better way. My name is Melanie McSally, and I will see you on the next episode.